sciences. Now, for the serial number 26, हम legal wing में बात करते हैं प्रमाण की. तो they are talking about the Praman Vigyan with the Vedic philosophy and cognitive sciences, the beautiful topic by Siddhi Avinash Deshmukh from MSU Baroda, Sridhar Rajashekhar J from Symbiosis, and Siddhanta Sanjay Deshpande from Symbiosis, Pune. Huge round of applause for the team of 3 friends.
Okay. How would you point at your body? Like this. How would you point at your mind? Like this. Now, how would you point at yourself? That little point of confusion is the beginning point of Indian Vedic philosophy. Good afternoon, everyone. Hari Om. Today, my team and I are talking about Vedic cognitive and philosophical sciences. Next slide, please. Philosophy or Tattva Jnana is the study of the underlying essence of the entire universe. Cognition is the study of mind and consciousness. But in Sanatan Dharma or in Bharatiya Jnana Parampara, we do not compartmentalize these subjects and put them in separate streams. We rather study them together and know them together. But how do we know? Next slide. Yes. Pramana, or the name for sources of valid knowledge. In Bharatiya context, we have 6 widely accepted pramanas, namely Pratyaksh, Upaman, Anupalabdhi, Arthapatti, Anuman, and Shabda. Now let's understand how all these different schools of thoughts approach cognition.
Yeah, so right now I'm really stressed and anxious. But let's see where this anxiety can be fit over here in Samkhya philosophy. So when I say I'm anxious, it comes as a part of Prakriti, which is the material reality. And the fact that I notice this emotion or categorize it as an emotion, anxiousness, it is a part of my intellect. And when I say I am anxious, I'm talking about my ahamkar or my ego. But beyond all of this, there is a Purusha or a pure consciousness who is looking at this and seeing this as what it is, a separate thing. It's not what I am. In Advaita Vedanta, we say, Mano buddhi ahamkar chittani naham, aham brahmasmi. It means I'm not the body, not the mind, not the ego, but I am the pure consciousness. I'm not this nervousness that I'm feeling, but I'm something else beyond this. In Nyaya, we see this nervousness as a state of mental being, which is not us, but something else, by using logical thinking and detaching ourselves from it.
But what do we do with this information? How do we practically implement it? Well, if you are a shishya of philosophical science, you're bound to have a very meaningful and purposeful life. Why? Because our society has given a very beautiful framework of 4 purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Dharma, duty, moral, ethical conduct. Artha, wealth, not just monetary wealth, but overall wealth. Kama, deep passion towards something. And moksha, liberation. So when you're earning artha and following your kama, your passion, when you do it within the framework of dharma, then you will attain moksha. And then you will have a meaningful life. If you align your core values to our scriptures, to our ancestors, automatically, practically, you'll see your self-confidence boosting, your integrity becoming better, and ultimately your life becoming better. Decision making. How many of us take impulsive decisions, emotional decisions? That's not getting anywhere. But if you are a student of philosophy, if you follow Nyaya, they will tell you a very critical analysis, a very logical understanding, practical understanding. You will detach yourself from the problem and look at it from a third point of perspective, which makes it easier for making decisions. And if you're following Vedic guidelines for daily practices, if I just want to slap Siddhanta right now because he spilled a glass of water on me accidentally, but instead of him retorting with anger, if he calmly talks to me and talks about it with understanding, I will feel extremely guilty and ashamed of my actions. Ahimsa is literally the cure for the world right now. And lastly, aparigraha, non-possession. It leads to sustainable living.
And in cognitive flexibility, as I said, I had imagined my nervousness in different contexts. So it helped me understand what I was feeling. Right now, we're exposed to so much external stimuli, we need to really concentrate. So practices such as dharana will help us. And in problem solving, our Indian ways of thinking really break down the problem so we can see the root of the problem as just a situation and not a problem anymore. Now, the concept of Katha Upanishad, this is a way you can visualize your state of being. It says that there are horses or the senses which are always going to some stimuli. And there's the rain, which is the mind, which has a control of these horses. If you have a tight grasp of this, you will control your senses. Then there is a charioteer, which is the intellect, which controls this mind, who decides what is right and what is wrong. And there is the silent witness, the Atman, who experiences this entire thing. And if you have a good control over this, this will take you where you're meant to be.
So, as is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bharata Bhumi Tehale Manusha Janma Sartha Kari Para Upakar. If you've taken the birth in the great verse of Bharata, it's your responsibility to make your life successful. And it's also make others happy, and you have to take others' responsibility to make them happy and take make them successful. Because our philosophy is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. Now, as they explained that how it is practical in today's era. Now, let's take the responsibility. Let's take modern science and Vedic wisdom together, and let's make Viksit Bharat possible.
Bharat Mata ki jai. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.